What's up, everybody? Welcome to Racing Dudes Live, covering Saratoga's Whitney Stakes day. And with it being Whitney Stakes, most of the dudes are at the track in Saratoga. Magic here holding it down with my good friend Nick Seevers. Nick, good to have you back on the show. How you doing, buddy?
Excellent. Can't complain. Already got one favorite beat at Saratoga today, so hopefully we can beat one more. 3 more?
Was it the favorite in race 6, Caravel? It was the first Graveyard of Champions victim for the day. Might not be the last, we'll see. But was that the race you're talking about?
That's it.
You got her. It's it's a little. There's a sick irony, Nick, that the top turf sprinter in America is a female, and then she's beaten the boys several times, and then she loses to the boys today, but it's 2 boys named Cockburn and No Balls. Like, that's just... And then Finn White Duke is, make up your own assumptions from that one as well. So, a little unfair. But talk to me real quick. Congratulations on that. How did you get to Cockburn as your winner?
I didn't. I was just happy that Caravel lost so that Dr. Tang makes some money. So, no, I didn't play at all on that race because I thought that race was impossible to beat her or No Balls. And so I was like, yeah, no, thank you. So... It was just interesting that it actually happened. So maybe it's not the last one, hopefully.
I want to say that the yielding turf, I think, what really Caravel did not seem to enjoy that. Yeah. So for me, I'm willing to scratch off the performance there. And it is too bad. The weather has been so detrimental to the turf racing. It was so bad that yesterday after the Saratoga Oaks, which what a performance by the winner there, the storms rolled in and it knocked out all the last 4 races. So that was pretty bummer if you were at the track. Although, make lemonade out of lemons. Just bet Del Mar. Sit at the bar at Saratoga. I know that's what Aaron and Jared were doing. So shout out to Rodney. He hit the daily double of races 6 and 7. He got Cockburn and Smokin' Tea home. Smokin' Tea, a horse I've been a big fan of for a while. And if you're playing along with the betting Bible, that was Aaron Halterman's top pick, and he said to place a win bet on Smokin' Tea. That daily double paying almost 36 to 1. So Rodney hitting that, and then also hitting the trifecta with Smokin' Tea Dakota Gold, your 2021 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf favorite, and then also Portfolio Company, who was the favorite in there. So those payouts were really nice. Good job, Rodney. Glad to see that. Let's take a look now, Nick. We've got a few minutes to post here to the test stakes, and let me take this down here now that we're officially going. The test stakes is the first leg of the late pick 5 here, and we got a field of 7 now. 3-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Scratch of Interpolate. She was the second longest shot on the board at 15 to 1 morning line. I don't think too many people in the Racing Dudes team were that excited about playing or interested in her. Who did you have as your top pick in this race, Nick?
I've kind of just fallen into Pretty Mischievous. I don't know that I love her cutting back to 7 furlongs. I think it's too short, but with the way this pace should, in theory, set up with this 7 Money's Gold and 8 Maple Leaf Mel, and I think 2 Clearly Unhinged and probably 4 Jersey Pearl, all wanting the lead. I kind of feel like the fractions are just going to be outrageous, and Pretty Mischievous probably wants longer. I think she's proven that over and over again, winning at a mile of 16th and so forth. But I think 7, she's going to be good just based on this pace and the way it's going to probably collapse. So I had the 1, and then I also have the 6 Darth Vader, because basically the exact same reasons, and hoping maybe to catch a bit of a price, but she's 7 or 2 currently, and Pretty Mischievous is 2 to 1. So kind of 6 to 1, half dozen of the other at this point, I think.
Yeah, those are the 2 horses that I used in this race, and in that order as well: Pretty Mischievous and then Darth Vader. Brendan Walsh, the trainer, said that they purposely skipped the CCA Oaks, which is 9 furlongs, same distance as the Kentucky Oaks that Pretty Mischievous did win, in favor of this spot. He thought this would be a little bit more to her liking, going 7 furlongs. So we'll see. Brendan Walsh, a very smart trainer, spots his horses very properly. Tends to know where they're going to have the best chance of success. And I'm with you. I think that the pace could be red hot between the 8, the 7, and the 2, possibly the 4, like you mentioned. The big question with the 8 Maple Leaf Mel is, can she rate if she needs to? Because she has been first at every single point of call in all 5 of her career starts, including last out in the Victory Ride Stakes going 6.5 furlongs. She hasn't gone beyond 6.5. I think we've seen with Money's Gold 7, she did well in 7 furlongs against Florida Breds, but the 8 Bell, she kind of gave it up to Red Carpet Ready and couldn't quite get there. Red Carpet Ready hasn't looked that great since that race. And then in the Acorn, going a mile and a 16th, one turn at Belmont. Again, not a good race for Money's Gold. She had the lead, gave it up, and then quit pretty badly once they got going in the stretch. So it's nice to see that she is taking some money. She's 9-2 off 7-2 morning line. But Darth Vader, that 7-2 price, I don't know how much of that is people thinking this is going to be a pace meltdown. It makes more sense to me, Nick, because Pretty Mischievous was your morning line favorite at 9-5. She's now 2-1, second choice by Maple Leaf Mel. Darth Vader was ahead behind her in the Acorn and gaining on her. So John Velasquez keeping the mount for the second straight start. George Weaver now has had her for plenty of time to try and get her right for this spot. So I get why the price is down in there. It seemed like the morning lines were a little off, and we were trying to take advantage of that. What do you think about the 4 Jersey Pearl? If you watched the preview at racingdudes.com and youtube.com/racingdudes, this was Dr. Miranda's top pick in the race. Horse is undefeated in 3 starts on dirt, and unlike Maple Leaf Mel or Money's Gold, she has shown that she can come from off the pace. She broke her maiden at Keeneland going 6 furlongs, kind of sitting just off of a quick pace and then pouncing. And then her last 2 starts, both on dirt, both of them very nice wins, especially last out by 9.5 lengths at Ellis. Now, she was supposed to win that. She was 3-5, but it's nice to see Louise Saez, who was up 2 back at Churchill Downs, is going to keep the mount. What did you think about her here?
I think she may be legitimate speed. I don't think she's going to be cheap speed, which means she's going to really add the pressure to Money's Gold and Maple Leaf Mel. Maple Leaf Mel, I think, has proven she's not cheap speed at all. I kind of thought that she was last time and got beat pretty badly because of it. Money's Gold, I think, is cheap speed. I think she had 2 really good races and hasn't really been great since, and I don't think she's going to want 7. So I'm kind of hoping that Money's Gold has to go Jersey Pearl. Yeah, I can't read that far. I'm old, apparently. Jersey Pearl, I think, is going to want to go. I just don't know that she's going to also be able to get the distance and having to go as fast as Maple Leaf Mel is going to go. I just think it's just going to burn itself up. And clearly Unhinged is wanting to go. So it's just, like I said, there's just so much speed here, and they all want to go. Maybe Maple Leaf Mel learns how to rate and is fine doing it and then gets a 7. But I just feel like she's got to do it and prove it to me that she can. And it 2-1 in this field, no, I'll take my chances against her.
Rodney Evans also saying he's alive in the middle. Pick 5 needs the 1 Pretty Mischievous, the 4 Jersey Pearl, or the 8 Maple Leaf Mel in this spot, and then he's alive to 3 horses in the Saratoga Derby. So we'll try and get on this one. I know that we both like Pretty Mischievous, so if that hits, you'll be happy, I'll be happy, Rodney will be happy as well. Quick question I saw here from Datahead asks, who provides free tips on your website? The free win picks, those are all from Aaron Halterman. He does all of the normal premium products, so if you want to play exactas, trifectas, or if you want to play the rocket picks, those are also Aaron's. And then some people ask, are the win picks the same as your top pick for the premium products? Yes. Whatever Aaron's top pick is on that free, if you go to racenews.com/track/Saratoga, whoever he has listed as the winner of that race for the pick, that is his top pick as well when you buy the premium products. So we don't do any kind of bullshittery wraparound stuff like that to try and cover our bases. So
as someone who subscribes, I can assure you that is true. That I look all the time. It's like, no, he's going to screw me one of these times, and not yet. And it's been 2 years. So,
Shoddy calling in from Indianapolis at Gen Con saying she's going to take Darth Vader again. This is Shoddy. We missed you for the Magic Mike show because Mike and I both were hyping her up. We're very excited, and we wanted to talk about her for you. But we like her as well. All right, so they are, Frank Miramati just said they're approaching the gate here. It's post time. They'll probably do a little bit of a Gulfstream drag because they're trying to get more money into that pick 5 pool. By the way, up to over 1.3 million. God. You could see this at $1.5 million easily. by the time it goes on, which is very impressive when you have what a lot of people think is a surefire single in the Whitney Stakes, in Cody's Wish. So a lot of people firing at that. A lot of people also on the other side of the fence, they think that possibly Charge It could go gate to wire in that spot, and it could. We'll talk about all of that when the Whitney Stakes come up, but Nick and I and some other special guests, if they are able to join us, they will all be doing the test stakes here. We'll do the Saratoga Derby and then the Whitney Stakes. So thanks for joining us. This is what the Racing News live show is generally like. It's a different mix of people coming in and out, but this is what we've got for right now. Aaron and Jared are live at the track. We'll see if they'll be able to, if the Wi-Fi will cooperate and they can come join us for a little bit. I know last year for the Saratoga live shows, Aaron was, when he was at the track, would sit there on the rail as horses were coming out of the paddock and wait for the horses to go by and then see how many high fives he could get. And that was a really, surprisingly a big highlight of the Saratoga Live experience there. They are still approaching the gate. So real quick, let's bring on one of our new friends here, Lon Garfield, a friend from the YouTube comments and the channel. Lon is here with us. How you doing, man?
All is well, all is well. How you guys doing?
We're good. They're about to go in the gate. Who's your pick for the test stakes as they're headed to the gate?
That one's wide open for me. I'm not sure who's gonna win that one.
Great. And now that's why we brought you on to sit on the fence for us there. We'll see what happens. They're going into the gate here. Maybe write down the time. Where are we at?
1:28.
Thank you. I meant the time for the video. I'm sorry.
I can read that time too, but I'm going to confuse you just a little bit just to be helpful. I will tell you that I've heard David Aragona say that he made Pretty Mischievous the favorite, knowing that he thought Maple Leaf Mel would end up being the favorite, but he had no right to do that because he thought, the Kentucky Oaks winner should be the favorite in this race. And at the moment, she's actually going to go off, and the morning line looks just about perfect, which, shocking nobody. David Aragona was right again on his morning lines.
Yeah, got one of the best morning line makers in the business for sure. Money's Gold going in, and we'll see Maple Leaf Mel, and then we will be all set for the test stakes. Let us know, by the way, in the chat, who are you playing here in this race? I'm on Pretty Mischievous with Darth Vader. Nick's on Pretty Mischievous with Darth Vader. Lon's taking this race off, and it's okay to take races off if you don't have a strong opinion.
I'm gonna go with the one. Pretty Mischievous.
They're off, making a clean sweep on the one. All right, kind of like what we expected, Nick. You see the 8 go, the 2's going, the 7's actually third there. A little surprised by that here, and now the 8 a clear lead. This is not what you wanted to see if you were trying to beat Maple Leaf Mel, is it, Nick?
Not yet, but they look like they're flying though. So maybe they're going to be able to slow it down at a second here. But the 4 still coming. I think this is going to be a fast quarter. I bet it's 20. Oh, I can't see
22 and 1. Not too bad.
Not bad at all.
It looked fast. Maybe that first 8th, like that first 16th, was really fast, or the first 8th, and they slowed it down a little bit. Darth Vader in a good spot. She's outside of Jersey Pearl in 4th. Pretty Mischievous is. She's being asked to go here, and she so far isn't really seeming to respond. In fact, it looks like she's going the other direction. Not good if you're a Pretty Mischievous supporter here. The 2 starting to roll up as well a little bit, Nick.
I'm half a second behind you, so yeah, I don't think Pretty Mischievous. Well, she's tipping out now, so maybe Pretty Mischievous has its chance, but I don't think this is going to be fast enough. I think Maple Leaf Mel unlikely to get caught unless Money's Gold's good, but I don't think so. I think it's Maple Leaf Mel. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Maple Leaf Mel's going to do it. 6 for 6.
Wow.
Oh, no. Oh, that's bad. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad.
God. Just what we need on the beginning of a Fox show. Right, because isn't it the first one they're showing live on, Big Fox?
Yep.
That's what horse racing needs right now, is a horse that is a clear winner, easing up. Oh, my God.
Not good.
Well, this is not how we like to win races, right? We don't know. It literally just happened, so we don't know what the status is yet for Maple Leaf Mel.
So for those of you that
or
aren't
Joel
watching
Rosario.
Maple Leaf Mel just went straight down right before the finish line. She went head first down and it was very ugly.
Through Joel Rosario, Pretty Mischievous crossed the wire first. Literally was just steps before the wire there. And Pretty Mischievous ended up crossing the wire first. Money's Gold, to her credit, Money's Gold stayed on well when we thought that 7 furlongs would be her undoing. That's just really rough. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
fun. I'm out of here.
It's just like what happened at Pimlico on the first race they showed on NBC. I forget the Bob Baffert horse that went down. It looked very similar to that for those of you that aren't watching. And yikes, that was very ugly.
We'll ask the guys, Aaron and Jared, for their. I'll text them and ask them what the status is.
Yikes! Yeah, I mean,
not good.
Rosario looked like he popped up, so I looked for half a second before they moved. So it didn't look good for the horse. It doesn't look terrible for Rosario, but I'm a guy watching it on my phone, so don't take this to mean anything.
You're watching on your phone?
Yeah.
You're literally doing this on a computer. Why are you watching on your phone?
Every time I use StreamYard, it gives me the little circle thing no matter where I'm at. So I've decided, you know what? My computer's for this. I have an iPad over here. I have a phone over there. I have a beer over there. I got my notepad over there. My sister-in-law is a neat freak, and she's going to come in here at some point and scream at me that I've made a mess of her room. But, it's what I do for you, Magic.
I appreciate that. Lon, it sounds like as we're all fathers on this, so we understand. You've got you're a very popular man right now.
Full house.
That's all right. That's all right. We appreciate you being on here. Clearly Unhinged was second. Okay, I thought it was the wrong horse that came across. So,
yeah.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to talk about anything like this. You work in horse racing as well. I guess let's break things up a little bit here while we wait for the dust to settle. Talk to us about you, your background, and I know you from the YouTube comments section, and you reached out asking if you could join. And I'm very sorry this is the first race you ever joined us for, but introduce yourself to the Racing Dudes community here. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, hey, my name is Long Garfield Jr. From the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. I moved to Florida to expand my racing career, and my mentor and someone who I looked up to is I know you guys know Aaron Wellman of Eclipse Thoroughbreds.
Oh yeah,
and I just look up to him in the horse racing business. While I was on YouTube, I should say it. While I was on YouTube, I saw him. I don't know if you guys saw his video searching for talents at Saratoga. Yeah. After I saw that video, I contacted him as soon as like not even a minute, and he told me to get into the business and get it going. And here I am.
Well, great. Yeah, Aaron Wellman's he's a great guy with Eclipse Thoroughbred. Very much invested in the game. Absolutely a nice guy and does good things for the sport. Just to give an update, I did see the tarp up. Does not look good. Does not sound good from what I'm hearing. I don't want to make any clear assumptions here, but it does not sound good at all. And a real tragic thing, because not only did you have a filly that was steps away from being 6 for 6, it was her first grade 1 attempt, and her trainer, Melanie Giddings, is who the horse is named for. Melanie herself, a stage 4 breast cancer survivor. And then, this was her first grade 1 starter. Looked like it's, a surefire winner. So very, very tragic what happened in that spot. We'll keep you updated on that. Let's try and move things on a little bit as best we can here. We'll talk now about the Saratoga Derby. This is the next race up here. We'll try and carry on. So Saratoga Derby, now a field of 8. The scratch of Truly Quality due to the poor quality of the turf course because of all the rain that we've gotten at Saratoga. It is a yielding course. They decided to keep Truly Quality out of this race here. Just like what we saw yesterday with the Hall of Fame stakes being canceled and rescheduled for next week, several of those horses probably going to head to Colonial Downs. You have the Secretariat Stakes for 3-year-olds going 1 mile and 1/8, and so you could see Truly Quality head that direction as well. Lon, I'll throw it back to you. When you look at the Saratoga Derby, 8 horses, who do you have?
Turf. I'll go with Chad Brown and flip Fabio number 2.
Program Trading, yeah, a good horse to back here. If you can get the odds on the 2, Program Trading, seems like Lone Speed. Is that the angle you were looking at there, Lon?
Yeah, I just like Chad Brown. Him and Flip Beyond Pratt, great combination. 7-2, can't go wrong.
Yeah, they're hitting it 23% together in the last year. Chad Brown hitting it 22% at Saratoga. You can always trust him to have his horses ready for the big races, especially when they're owned by Kalleward Stables. It's the top ownership for Chad Brown has been for at least a decade. Nick, where did you go for your top pick here in the Saratoga Derby?
So my original thought was I was going to be on Web Slinger. I thought that he was going to have probably the best close, very similar to Farbridge. I've kind of waffled now based on how bad the turf is playing. I mean, it's with it being so yielding, I always get a little nervous pretending like these ones that love the firm are actually going to continue on the firm when it's yielding. So I've kind of defaulted into the European, the franchise. I liked it to begin with. It seemed like this was more of a lateral move instead of a step up, and it had been running well. Then you figure in the yielding. It's been running on some good. Ran on good last at 1 mile and 1/8. So kind of feels like maybe this is a spot that now with Saez can make a decent move and may have a shot of winning with the yielding turf. Won't be surprised when Webslinger wins or Farbridge wins. I mean, those are the 2 best 3-year-olds I think on turf, but I think this is a chance to maybe take a little shot against him. And I mean, the prices open up at 8-5 on Farbridge and 3-1 on Webslinger. So I'm going to try and take a little shot against him. I'm not going to be all that confident that something else is going to happen there, but I think trying to beat him is probably good when they're trying something new on a turf like this.
I want to go back and find Rodney's, because Rodney did have Pretty Mischievous in the pick 5, so he now needs, there it is, he needs the 1, the 2, and the 5. So Mondigo, Program Trading, and Farbridge. Farbridge by far the classiest horse in here. Undefeated with Jose Ortiz aboard. The only 2 times his horse has lost in his career was when Joel Rosario was riding. And I'm not going to poo-poo Rosario, especially not after what just happened. But sometimes when you make a jockey change, it's not the one's better than the other. Sometimes one just has a better feel for a horse than other jockeys might. And even with Joel, a 1-length loss and a nose loss, and that nose loss to Webslinger, who you talked about as well, Nick. So that Belmont Derby race was a very great performance from both of those horses. I thought Webslinger ran just as good a race as Farbridge. Ended up getting 4th in that race, but Farbridge saved ground, got a great rail trip in the far turn. Webslinger was 6 wide in the far turn, and he was coming with the Foxes, who might have won that race if he'd gotten a better break. He broke quite poorly and still got up late for 3rd. Mondigo was the horse that was in the mix there in that trifecta to keep Webslinger out, and couldn't go gate to wire in that spot. The theory is cutting back a 1/16 of a mile might help, but Lon, I'll ask you, when a horse like Mondigo goes, the distance they do in the Belmont Derby goes 1.25 miles, and then now they cut back to 1 mile and 3/16, do you think that Mondigo is able, off of his running style, to go gate to wire in this spot?
He should. I don't want to say he should, but he's fit. He'll be fit. Plus, with the extra work that he got in, the trainer put into him, it all depends on the trip that him and Rosario gets. We'll see.
Yeah, now Rosario did send Maple Leaf Mel to the front there and hustled her out, and that was the right move there. That turf course is very tricky right now, and when you've got horses like Mondigo, Aspen Grove is in from Europe, the franchise is in from Europe, these Line of War in from Europe. Like, these are horses that are used to running on that cut of ground. So it'll be curious to see how some of them handle it. We don't really know till they try it. Lon, do you get a chance to watch much international racing? I don't, unless it's replays, but do you?
Not really. Only when it's replays or if there's a big race. One of our
Makes
horses
sense.
from the US over there, or if Mr. O'Brien has a big one there.
Yeah, Nick, what about you? I mean, the Royal Ascot's a pretty big deal for us, but anything beyond Ascot?
I watch a lot of Australia in between my Los Al dice rolls. So yes, I'm an expert on Australia racetrack C. Depending on the week, I can lose between $20 and $40 a race because it's Los Al's not running yet. So yeah, the answer you're looking for, right? And that's why you have me on, is to tell you about Australia. I mean, at one point I stayed up so late that I got to watch racing from India. And if you haven't watched horse racing in India, I have to tell you, go to bed. It's a much better plan.
Tell you what, guys, what we're going to do here, just because I think I need a minute to just kind of take a step back here after what we saw. It sounds like that Maple Leaf Mel did not survive her injury there, which is just terrible news. So we'll come back here so that you guys on screen with me know we're going to take about 7 minutes here. I've got the Saratoga Derby preview all queued up from the Magic Mike Show with Mike Somich. He couldn't be with us today, at least not right now, but he might come on later. We do want to play this for you so you can get our thoughts on the field. And then, gentlemen, we'll be back in about 7 minutes. So have fun. Second leg of the Saratoga Late Pick 5 on Saturday, August 5th. Race 9, the Grade 1 Saratoga Derby for 9 3-year-olds, routing a mile and 3/16 on the outer turf. And it's interesting that the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks winning filly, Aspen Grove, is going to scratch out of Friday's Grade 3 Saratoga Oaks in order to run against the boys. They're going for a bigger purse, $600,000, and the Grade 1 status, to try and get a multiple Grade 1 winner here. I'd be surprised if either one of us used her, because I know you were trying to fade her in the Saratoga Oaks before it was announced that she was going to scratch. So where'd you go on top?
Yeah, I think this is actually an easier field than the Saratoga Oaks, to be honest with you, for her. If you go up and down, and I think she's got a better shot in this race than the other. I only went too deep here. I just don't think this is that contested of a field. I put the 2-horse program trading on top here. Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, probably the fastest horse early. And if that's the case, I'm not sure they're going to be able to catch her late. Catch him late. I'm sorry. This seems like a horse that's going to get loose on the lead. Looked very good going a mile and 16th last time, so I don't think the extra 2/16 is going to be much of an issue. Bred to get the distance as well, and it just feels like this one's going to dominate early. Mundango, the one horse, the other speed, I guess, in here, but that speed was shown going 51-14, and program trading last time went 23-2, 47-1. So just a different level of speed. On top of that, Pratt, I would expect, is going to clear Rosario just because of the two styles of those riders and the one and the two posts. I think the two has a very good shot at taking this field gate to wire.
Same top pick for me as well. The lone speed on paper angle is pretty good. I also like that last time out, the horse pressed the pace, sat off of it a little bit, but was within pressing range of the actual leader while on the outside, and then ended up drawing away to win by 2 1/4 lengths. And that was a one-turn mile and the 16th, but still, this horse has 2 starts, both at a mile and the 16th. And when you see that, especially when they debut at that distance from a top trainer like Chad Brown, it tells you that the trainer's thinking that the longer the better for this horse. So you get an extra furlong here, which can often help speed horses as long as they have the staying power, and it looks like this one should. Last time out, also, Scramble was third that day, returned to miss by a nose in an N1X allowance here on July 22nd. And if you watch that race back, Scramble probably should have won that race, but he hung pretty badly late in the stretch there. Not worried that this is a Kalleward horse that Irad's never touched. Pratt got the mount last time out at Belmont because Irad was on suspension, a common theme with him sometimes, so wasn't able to ride there for a little while. We both have the second horse in line as well here, the number 5 Far Bridge, your 2-1 favorite. No shocker there. As long as Jose Ortiz is healthy, and I think I don't know if he was riding today or if he's back tomorrow at Saratoga, but as long as he's okay and the ribs are fine, he'll be back on this horse. And the horse is undefeated with Jose Ortiz. Last time out in the Belmont Derby, won it. And going into it, I was like, look, the difference why he wins this after not winning the last 2, jockey effing upgrade. You lose Rosario, you ditch him, and then you get Jose Ortiz up, and got the even the 2 losses. He was very competitive. He was right there. We thought for sure on Derby Day he was winning that race in the final stages until he got caught. But we both love Far Bridge, don't we?
Yeah, you made all great points. I mean, this horse just looks like it's ready to go. Been in great form, improved significantly in that Belmont Derby. I think has a shot at taking another step forward. And if that's the case, Farbridge is going to be awfully tough. You go back, you look at Web Slinger, who I love as a horse, great story, winning the American Turf. Pace just set up for Web Slinger that day. They went 23-4, 47-4. We're not going to get that type of pace for Web Slinger to close into, so I think it's going to make it a little more difficult for that horse. Farbridge really has been able to sit almost any trip and close into almost any pace. So I'm going to go ahead and expect Farbridge to be able to take a step forward. We know the distance isn't going to be a problem. And in that last race it was phenomenal. I mean, that's the thing. Just took a really nice step forward. You said it, Jose Ortiz, huge jockey upgrade there from what Rosario had been doing specifically at Churchill and Belmont. So you got to think that all systems go again for Farbridge. Are you going any deeper? Are you leaving out the Euros, or are you going to add one of them?
I did. I actually went 4 deep here. I used the number 6 Web Slinger. I thought his Belmont Derby race was actually very good. He ended up getting 4th to Farbridge in that spot, but Farbridge and the Foxes both got inside trips. I know the Foxes blew the start and was last away, and that kind of hurt his chances, but they both got inside trips. Web Slinger had to go 6 wide in the far turn, and Farbridge saved ground, like I said, got that great rail trip. I think that we've seen that they are comparable enough in talent that if I'm going to get twice the price on Web Slinger and it's not going to make my ticket balloon, I'm going to go ahead and use him here. So I fit him on, and then last horse on my entire ticket is going to be the number 8 Lion of War. Comes out of a near stakes win at Royal Ascot, going 1.25 miles. The distance should be no issue for him. He's a son of the late great Roaring Lion, who also was a Qatar racing horse. That horse loved to run long distances on turf. He's out of a Manju mare. Manju is known for giving, Manju was a 1.5 mile horse, so he's known for producing a lot of stamina horses. He seems to be improving. It's just a question of how does he match up against these horses, and he is a European coming in. So I thought that was enough to use him at 8-1. I think that there is enough talent here from the American perspective, and we've seen enough of these horses do well and succeed that you're going to get that price. We both left off the rail horse Mondigo, and for me it was 2 reasons. One, I don't think he gets the easy lead that he got last time out in the Belmont Derby. Even though we're going shorter, if we were going this distance at Belmont, he actually would have won that race. Mike, what was his price that day compared to his 5-1 morning line now?
It was 41.5 to 1 that day.
Yeah. 2 reasons I think why we both are leaving him off of this ticket. And oh, by the way, it's Rosario. Another reason to not use him.
Yeah, I Lion of War was my third horse in if I was going to use somebody. And one of the reasons I didn't was what Kevin B mentioned. He's had some trouble at the gate in European races. That generally can cause problems in U.S. races.
Like the Foxes.
Especially ones we're not projecting much pace in. So I think that could be an issue there for Lion of War. It's one of the reasons I didn't use that Euro. I respect the franchise. It's 30-1, and Sias picks up the mount for Joseph P. O'Brien. He's not shipping horses over here to lose. But I couldn't really figure out why he shipped this horse over here, which made it a little more difficult for me to try and include that horse. Look, Mundango, I get it why people want to play him, but 5-1 is just too short for me. You'd need a repeat effort or better of that last race with completely different running tactics, which he's going to do. I mean, he's going to come from off the base. I'm not sure I trust him at literally 1/8 of the price. So to me, this was tough to get around the 2 and the 5 here. Honestly, like I might even take a shot with the 3 before I took a shot with anyone else and try the filly in here because she did run well in the Belmont Oaks Invitational. She needs to take a step forward, but at least she gets a little bit of a weight break, and then she's not completely devoid of speed like some others in here.
He gained John Velasquez to ride her after Ushin Murphy was already going to be riding the 8 Lion of War. So that's, Ushin was supposed to ride Aspen Grove in the Saratoga Oaks and now won't get that chance. But you talked about Joseph O'Brien sending the 4 over. I think there was an extra spot on the FedEx plane because he's got a couple in the Saratoga Oaks, and he's also got a maiden debuting on Saturday in race. I want to say it's race 1, the opener. He's got a 2-year-old maiden debuting there. So I think that there was just an extra spot, and they're like, the horse won last out. Why not? We'll send him over there and see what he can do. So, but we're both going to pass on him. Next up, RacingNews.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track. Summer's here. Our picks are heating up. We want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to the Racing Dudes YouTube channel right now. Click the notification bell. You don't want to miss a single one of our awesome videos. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes. All right, guys, we're back. There we go. There's the the field for the Saratoga Derby back up there. Yeah, Maple Leaf Mel put down. I will say silver lining, if there can be one. Joel Rosario, it sounds like he walked off under his own power. I haven't heard that they are going to change. I read Ortiz Jr. It sounds like is now going to ride the number 1 Mondigo for Christophe Clement. One horse we didn't talk about yet that we can, the number 3 Aspen Grove, winner of the Belmont Oaks, and the original plan was to go in the Saratoga Oaks, and then they said, you know what, grade 1, going a little longer, we like that decision instead. Nick, what do you think about that decision, especially after what we saw from Elusive Princess yesterday? It could be the right move.
Yeah, it's hard for me to... Sorry, I had myself muted extra times. It's hard for me to say that I know anything more than the trainer does, because they're significantly smarter than I could ever dream about being on this horse. But she didn't look that good in that win. Like, she was good and she beat a okay field, but I feel like this field is legitimately better. And it's tough for me to say, like, yeah, that's where I want to go, is this one, given what we've seen from the boys, the American boys alone. It just feels like it's more than she can handle, but maybe it makes sense, right? I mean, it's like, who am I? Like I said, James Stacks is a much smarter person than I will ever be about what to do with horses. So I'm not going to argue with him, but it's like, I'm not going to bet on her. But at 10-1, I'm also not going to talk anybody off of it, because maybe James Stacks knows what he's doing. Maybe he's going to get rich betting on this horse, along with winning $1 million, or 600,000, I should say.
Yeah. Lon, I see you kind of nodding your head too there. You think that moving to this spot was the right decision for Aspen Grove?
Well, Ireland overseas runners, and Velasquez, who knows? You can roll the dice on it and see what they got.
Yeah. Lon, what did you think about Aspen Grove's Belmont Oaks win? I'm kind of with Nick. I'm like, it was fine, but she beat kind of the same horses that just got waxed by Elusive Princess.
That's true. So, he's a great trainer in Ireland. With Jan Velasquez, let's see what they could do. That's how I feel about it.
It'd be interesting to see after this race what we think about Elusive Princess versus the males that we'll see here, because it sounded like, according to the co-owner Jamie Roth of L&J Foxwoods, they also were considering doing what Aspen Grove's connections did. It was putting her in this spot instead, and they thought, well, let's just wait. We'll see what we'll let her get her feet under her in America, and then make that big jump up there, which is what Aspen Grove did. So, or is doing right now. Looking at who the let's see, Andy Serling and Sarah Albadwe have here. They both have the combination of 2, 6, 8, and 5 in their plays. The 2 program trading we've talked about. The 6 web slinger we've covered. The 5 far bridge we've covered. By the way, the 9-5 favorite. Lion of War, let's talk about this horse, a European coming in for Charlie Johnston, and Oisin Murphy going to be riding this colt. What's an interesting connection, a son of Roaring Lion, who only had, I believe, 1 crop at stud, and then was unfortunately got sick and couldn't make it. So Oisin Murphy was the regular rider for Roaring Lion. Qatar Racing owned and campaigned Roaring Lion. So he's here riding the son of Roaring Lion. And he had some good races overseas in England. He was second in a handicap at Royal Ascot, missing by less than a length. And the race before that, a pretty big win, going 1 1/8. The yielding turf, and I think they came here because they were looking for something firmer. His yielding turf efforts, Nick, a couple of thirds, but it didn't seem like he was really that invested in the races there. Maybe this is a different horse. Maybe he's grown up. What do you think about him?
Yeah, if it was taking a bunch of money, I would have a much different opinion on it. But Qatar Racing brought this one over along with a few others, and this one's not taking money. So I just feel like, yeah, maybe it wins, but I don't have a strong enough opinion, and I need much more than 7-1 to be like, yep, that's the horse that I need here. So, like you say, with the soft and yielding not being great, and yeah, those were good, decent enough races, but didn't win. This isn't going to be the greatest, turf crop we've ever seen, but Farbridge and Webslinger are good horses. Like, they've proven over and over again, like, maybe they haven't beaten the best horses in the world, but they've beaten each other, and they've ran really well, and they've ran good numbers. So while they may not be the best, I feel like Line of War has to be better than them. And I don't, doesn't look like he is based on nobody else thinking that he is, right? So if he was down to 2-1, somebody knows something, right? And these are the type of European horse you want to see. I mean, franchise is down from 30-1 to 13-1. That has at least partly to do with morning line was probably just too high because he's got to fill the numbers out, so you can only make it so high. But the fact that program trading isn't really down there, right? You have a Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt at Saratoga is only 4-1 and went up off of the morning line. Makes me think that one doesn't have a legitimate shot. When he wins, I'll look like an idiot, which won't be the first time, but that's the type of horse that you want to try and play against, in my opinion. It's like, if it's a Chad Brown at 2-1, all right, well, everybody knows something's going on here. But in this case, both of those don't look like they are taking enough money to be legit. I think Farbridge is getting overbet, right? Like, Farbridge is better than Webslinger one time. Not always, right? So, like, there you go back and forth. And if I'm getting 9-5 versus 4-1, I'll take the 4-1 on Webslinger. But I'm going to go with franchise because with our break, I watched one race and I was watching the wrong horse. But then I realized, I'm watching the wrong horse. Look, there's the good horse. So we're going to go with the franchises, a legitimate shot of winning here. And if you give me 13-1, I'll take it. So I'm actually doing a double with the franchise into Cody's Wish, which I think will actually give me some real money if it happens.
Well, let's talk about that. Yeah, next up is the Whitney Stakes. We can look at what the daily doubles are projecting to be. Cody's Wish is the 6th horse next race, so we'll take a look. Right now, the shortest price, you can get 4-1 on Farbridge into Cody's Wish with a straight dollar daily double. That's pretty crazy. Lon, we didn't talk about your betting. What do you like? Do you like to just do wins? Do you do daily doubles, trifectas? How do you like to play it?
I do trifectas and exactas.
Okay. Well, then let's look at this race. If you're playing exacta trifecta, what are you looking at for the Saratoga Derby?
Okay, for this race, here's my picks for this race. I go 2. My trifecta is 2, 1, 8, or 217. Tyler Gaffion. I like Tyler Gaffion. Or 217.
Yeah. You get a lot of value there on the 7 Battle of Normandy one. I think is the only horse we haven't talked about yet. 16-1 for Shug McGahee and out of a Kitten's Joy mare, so definitely bred for the turf. My issue with Battle of Normandy is he just, for an exotics play, I think he's got a ton of value. Not to win, he is not. He just seems to always get into trouble, but. He was second in the Grade 3 race at Saratoga last year when I thought he should have won. He's been second in both starts at age 3. And so, Nick, when you look at Battle of Normandy, sure he's coming off of Lasix, but at 15, 16, 17-1, it's got to be a good horse to use underneath, right?
The one problem I have is that our horse is able to close today, and I don't think I've seen a lot of closing on turf. I haven't watched enough of the turf races to have a real strong opinion, but he looks like a horse that can really close. And if you're getting 16-1, I don't see why you don't play it. Both races, he's improved his time form number and improved them both times, one over the other. So it's like he's an improving horse, third off of that layoff. Shug McGahee's, and West Point aren't going to just, well, I guess West Point would be here because it's West Point and they'll be in any race they can possibly get into, which, good for them. But it feels like he was scratched out of a N1X a couple weeks ago, and then they moved him to a stakes race. So it does feel like one that at 17-1, you're getting too good of a price not to be touching. So I would have at the very least the 4 and the 7 underneath, but I'm going to play those with the doubles, hoping to make Cody's Wish make me some money today. So I'll have a 4-7 with a 6 exact or double. I know how to place bets.
If you play, one thing I like, and I know this was Jared Welch's play from the Betting Bible, he played a 2-6 double here into Cody's Wish, and both of those right now paying 7-1. So if you get either Web Slinger or Program Trading home, you're getting 7-1. And if you like, Jared thought this way, I thought this way, and Nick sounded like you did too. Web Slinger and Farbridge ran very comparable races last time out. You're getting 4-1 on Farbridge versus 7-1 on Webslinger in the daily double into Cody's Wish there. Now, if you wanted to play into Charge It, the lowest payout you could get on a dollar daily double is actually Webslinger. 27-1 right now for him, 30-1 on Farbridge. So if you like Charge It in the Whitney Stakes, to possibly go gate to wire. You're getting a lot of value in that respect. They are calling for post time as they're trying to get that pick 4 pool up to. They'll probably get over 500,000. It's up to 451 right now. So. That pick 4 going in. If you're playing this race, let us know your picks. It could be win, it could be double, pick 3. Maybe you're a trifecta player like our friend Lon. Let us know what you've got. We'd love to hear from you in the chat section, in the comments section there.
You just talked me onto that double with Charge It, because that is the one horse that I have this feeling that Charge It's actually good. And I know, he had a great wire, and so why can't he be good? So I have this dream of why Charge It has to win, so I'm going to play that double too, because I have a gambling problem that you're making worse, Magic, by telling me that Charge It can win this race. So thank you. I'm going to blame you and not me. The first time I actually have a problem is blaming somebody else for my own actions. That was a joke, everybody. Just a joke.
Raymond Mast asking if Joel Rosario is okay. The guys at the track said he did walk off under his own power. He did get replaced on this mount. He might be off his mounts for the rest of the day. It's kind of one of those things when it happens mid-card, it's very fluid. He was named on Zandon in the Whitney Stakes next up. He also had mounts in the, he had Bourbon Bash there. Yeah, he had mounts in all 4, and I heard Frank Miramati call for someone to go to the jockey's room, so I didn't hear who it was, but it sounds like he's probably off as a precaution, as it should be. JT Brew joining us has got $50 win placed on Webslinger, and then a $20 straight double, 6-6. That was paying 7-1, so good luck to you. Rodney, I think you needed 125. Good luck to you. You're going to cash out. By the way, those pick 5 payouts for the middle pick 5, Rodney's looking at 4,800, 5,300, or 9,300 on the payouts there. So good luck to him. That's to me, that's a real big money there. I'm not Mike Somich. I'm not making 10 grand in tournaments on a Tuesday, but yeah. Ronnie says this race ain't nothing but a $34,430, $50 exacta.
I will book
Aspen
that
Grove
right
in
now,
the franchise.
Huh?
I'll book that one.
All right.
2 Irish horses there, and yeah, one of them being James Stack, the other being Joseph O'Brien. All right, and then Lon, you said it was 217, right, for your trifecta here?
Yeah.
All right.
They have Tyler Gaffione at 20-1.
22 now. He's floating up there, so I think that's a great horse to use underneath at a price for sure. Aspen Grove did not like John Velasquez. He had to jump off when she was in the gate. She's not having a good time. Maybe she just really wants to get out of that gate and go. She's like, I have to show them that I'm better than Elusive Princess. Webslinger having a little trouble as well. I see Castellano turned around. Is the tail stuck? He's looking at the tail like his tail was stuck. That's weird. Velasquez still not out. He's back off Aspen Grove. She's not having a good time.
She knows that Murphy jumped off of her, and she's all mad. Like, where's Murphy at? Oh, he's just down the hall.
You're not the little guy that rides me. You're a different little guy. And she's backed out of the gate. See if they can get her under control.
Has it been closer, or has it been pretty fair on the turf, Magic? I haven't watched enough of the... Sounds fair.
I think if you're... I think it's horses like yielding. I think that's the big thing. Is that do they like that cut in the ground? All right, Velasquez is aboard. We'll get into the gate for Aspen Grove. The Saratoga Derby, they're off.
Oh, you're ahead of me by just a second.
The 2 is going to the lead. The Mondigo with Irad Ortiz Jr. riding now, also going to the lead. Boy, Ushin Murphy's going to let the 8. Line
really
of War is going to go up. Wow, he is very forwardly placed. He's going to sit outside of program trading, going second into the turn. Poor Webslinger going 4 wide again.
Yeah. At some point, the horse just wants to be there, right? Like, if it's not going to move, it's not going to move, and you just kind of got to say, like, he's going to make his own trouble.
Yeah, Lon, I'm sure you can speak to that too. That sometimes horses, they get that kickback, it really screws with them. So you'd rather go wide and have them get the kickback.
So a 23 and a 3/4 for the first quarter, not bad. And
yep.
Program trading looks like he's moving easily, so maybe I'm going to feel like an idiot here in a second.
Line of War is he is sitting there prowling, but Webslinger's now moved up to be Well, he's about second. I can't lose sight of him there. He's right outside of Lion of War. He's definitely got the jump on Far Bridge, which I think was Castellano's intention here. Aspen Grove in tight. The 7 with Tyler Gaffleone's in there tight for you, Lon. They're all pretty bunched up.
Yep.
The only one at the rear is Saez on the O'Brien horse.
That one's
All right.
just waiting to find a spot.
Webslinger is rolling so nicely.
Yeah,
Can he
is.
keep Far Bridge behind him is the question. Boy, Battle of Normandy's coming up there too.
Yes, he is, and
Webslinger's got the lead off the turn.
they're getting way off.
Can
that
he
way.
hold off Far
The
Bridge is the
franchise.
question.
The franchise is nope. Just kidding. I'm half a second behind you, and you already know what happened. I feel. Oh man.
Oh boy, Far Bridge is trying to dig in. Program Trading is fighting his behind off, and
Yep.
I think did he just take the lead back?
Looks
Program
like
Trading goes back and gets it.
Wow.
Wow.
Program Trading. fought
Wow.
and fought and beats.
I love Chad
Webslinger.
Brown.
Yeah. 265 for the trifecta.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we all had the 2 Program Trading was our top pick here. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Ron, nice try. Ron said this race ain't nothing but 3-4-4-3. Yeah.
Nailed us, Ron.
Yeah.
Venmo's open, Ron.
Nick did book it. No, this was a fantastic effort here from
Wow,
Program
really
Trading.
good.
I mean, Webslinger off the turn, I thought he was gone, and somehow Program Trading just dug in, and that woof. Wow, so impressive.
Who ran second there, Mike? Magic?
6.
It's
The
6?
6 Webslinger.
Webslinger.
did. And then 5 Farbridge was third. It looked like
Far-
Webslinger was not getting his footing. It looked like he was slipping a little bit, and there was mud flying up underneath him. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. And I'm a horse person, so I'll tell you, it cost him the race.
I would say Far Bridge definitely had that. It looked like he
Yeah.
was struggling to get going and kind of spinning his wheels a little bit. The yielding turf looked like it probably got to him. We'll have to watch the replay again later to see on Webslinger on that too. A super impressive effort from Program Trading. Only his 3rd career start, making it for Chad Brown. 2nd start, really with that. Broke his maiden on debut at Monmouth Park, and then went to Belmont and had a nice win. But both of those run firm turf, and again, we said you don't know what they're going to do on that until they get to see it. But that was very, very impressive. I didn't get to see where Aspen Grove finished. A Line of War, it looked like off the turn, just I don't know if he's lost his footing or something, but he faded off pretty quickly. Battle of Normandy, a good pick for underneath Lon. He didn't get up he got 4th, but that was a great pick. That horse is definitely in there for a chance. Just
Yeah.
again, maybe the footing. He was coming from farther behind than Webslinger and Far Bridge and off the turn, so that could have been. But a great pick from you on that one. But yeah, Program Trading, your winner of the Saratoga Derby. And a big congratulations to our friend Rodney. Rodney's 6K in the bank, hits the middle pick 5 and the middle pick 4. Rodney's been red hot with his betting lately, especially when we do live shows. So that was a great hit for you there. Woof, that was good. I see Line of War walking back. I saw his chiclet just off the other way, about slip right off the screen.
And I think the same basically happened for Aspen Grove. She seemed like she got beat coming around the turn, and the 4 started to move, and I don't think Aspen Grove did. So I think she ended up pretty far back as well. I don't think she was close.
That was pretty great. Elon, you going somewhere? You taking off on us? Did we lose him? Are you there, Elon? Oh, we'll see. Let's see. I'm going to go look at the Bible here. Listen, this was a horse that both Aaron and Jared said to play. Jared said do a $20 double Program Trading into Cody's Wish, which is going to pay. Come back here.
Wow.
6-1. So if Cody's Wish wins, you got 6-1 on Cody's Wish winning, and then a $20 win bet from Aaron Halterman. So things picking up in the betting Bible. They also, Aaron had pretty mischievous. He had smoke and tea. Aaron's had a pretty great day so far with the betting. So that's going well for him. We've got the Whitney Stakes coming up next, and that'll be next. Bree making a joke. I know that Bree's been playing with the betting Bible picks, so Rodney should write for the Bible. Rodney, you wanna come on and do picks, or you want to come on sometime? You're more than welcome. That's good. Cody's Wish opens at 3-5 at first click. That's surprising. He's a 1-2 on the morning line. Lon, what do you think Cody's Wish's off odds will be in this race?
Off odds, he should be. What is it now for him? Cody's Wish?
Now he's 1-9. Okay, that's better. He was 1-2 morning line.
Okay.
Yeah.
He should be.
I think he goes off. Yeah, it seems to me he's going to be 2-5. It seems like he's going to take all the money. I think the only one other one's going to take money, maybe Charge It, but you already saw Cody's Wish beat Charge It, so I think you get 2-5 at best here.
Which makes sense. I mean, there's no. If a horse like Forte was in this race, then, or if Two Phils hadn't been retired, that sort of standout 3-year-old kind of thing, maybe his odds are better. But the only new horse really that he's facing here that could be a problem for him, and I say new, is Charge It. But Charge It, was in the Met Mile, was fourth, beaten 5.5, and wasn't involved much in that race. So it's kind of a question about Charge It, what you could do with him here. Excuse me. Move on. At least update this here. We'll go back to the Saratoga Derby for a second. Vashon says if that was Rodario Mendigo and he didn't send it, people would crucify him. That's true. Irad didn't send him. He kind of broke on top, and then Irad pulled him back, and I thought that was a surprising move because the horse was kind of forwardly placed. Were you surprised by that one, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know if you pulled him back as much as he didn't have the pace to go. I mean, Program Trading was moving on first time under the wire, so maybe he did pull him back just enough to say, you know what, we don't want to go this fast, and I think that probably cost him. I don't think he was good enough either way because he didn't have much kick at the end, but he's got one speed. He has one way of winning, it seems, and it's to go, so not having him on the lead from the rail just feels like a poor decision, but, that happens sometimes.
Lon, who is your favorite jockey in all of American horse racing? Do you have one?
Oh,
is it Gaffleone? I know you liked him on Battle of Normandy.
No, I like the Ortiz brothers. I really like their style, aggressive ride. Yeah, I like the Ortiz brothers.
Irad gets a lot of. Sorry, what was that?
I like Tyler.
Yeah.
The Ortiz brothers. Who else?
Irad gets a lot of slack for because of his aggressiveness and kind of what you saw with Forte in the Jim Dandy. But in his defense, if nobody's ever going to do anything, whether it's the stewards or if it's in the jocks room, which a lot of times that's where this stuff really gets taken care of, if nobody's going to do anything to him, he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get fined, you don't get thrown off, what are you going to do? I mean, they're not punishing him to stop. So I don't know what else, what else he's supposed to do. He's riding to win. And if you own the horse, you want him to try to win. And if he gets taken down, well, it'll be the first time in a long time. So you might as well let him. I mean, until he gets punished, he's going to do it. And I know he got punished once in a while, but he gets so light punishments, or they let him take a 30-day suspension between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, yeah, we'll enforce it then. So he gets a nice vacation when there's no good racing going on anyways.
I think the stewards should they know, or Irad is the aggressive rider. He made a good move in the Jim Dandy. To me, if he didn't make that move, he'd have been sitting third, coming down the lane, the stretch. So, yeah,
you're not wrong. He did what he had to do, and there wasn't anything. I thought the most interesting part was not that it was a quick review, which some people were surprised how quickly they said no change. I was surprised Flavien Prat never said anything after what happened with him on Angel of Empire. That was, to me, like, kept sitting there waiting, like, jockey objection, and it didn't happen. And so that kind of lends itself to, well, if the jockey that was supposedly the most offended by it doesn't object, the stewards, are they really going to do anything? This is a great question, Special Golden Kitten. How did Irad get into trip trouble in a 5-horse field, which I'll add an addendum to? Hit Show was never involved. and Disarm was behind them. So it was really a 3-horse field. He somehow managed to get the horse into trouble. But like you were saying, Lon, he got the horse out and got him moving. And God, I cannot wait for the Travers. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. That Travers Stakes is going to be just so exciting. We need to get these horses there. Let's get them all healthy and to the race, because that could be race of the year, more than the Kentucky Derby. That could easily be race of the year. Car Ramrod says, "Do you still love Victor Espinoza like you used to, Magic?" Listen, I don't dislike him like I used to. How about that? He used to ride a horse that I owned. My favorite horse I've ever had a piece of, Tis a Magician, and he used to drive me insane how he would ride that horse, and just kind of in general, you put him on a speed horse and he chokes him. But Victor, Victor was one of those jockeys that could suddenly just pull a fantastic ride out of nowhere and get the job done. He just isn't the same horse he was back when California Chrome was doing what he did. So got that as well. Matt Owens.
Sorry, I was going to say. Tis a Magician standing at Milky Way Farms in California. He's going to enjoy Calbreds. You're going to have the best Calbred stallion you're going to see in quite some time. Smiling Tiger, look out. Then you start writing some 1.25-mile races for these future Calbreds of Tis a Magician. I'm not excited about it or anything.
Like 5 years, 6 years from now, he's going to have a Calbred in the San Juan Capistrano going 1.75 miles, and that horse is going to roll if that's the case. The first horse I ever owned was Moonless Sky, and she was a long distance turf runner, and she's standing in California somewhere. I kept thinking, like, if you put those two horses together, you would have the best turf marathoner. You go win the Belmont Gold Cup with that horse, or at least hit the board. All right, they finally have the replay up here for the Saratoga Derby, so we'll take a look at this. I'm just curious. I want to see how the Euros did, because you didn't have any Euro shippers, I should say, that hit the board here. Maybe, usually when you send a horse from Europe to America, you're hoping that they're going to get firmer footing than what they've been experiencing. So the yielding turf, you could make that an excuse for any of these, and none of them are trained by Charlie Appleby, so you can't say, well, it's because Appleby's just having like the worst year he's ever had in America by far. Like, this is a guy that would win like 60% of the races that he'd enter in America, and has he gotten one? He did. He won the Fort Marcy Stakes earlier this year. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, with Ottoman Empire, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. And now my feed just is spinning wheel. Okay, great. Well, they're on the back stretch at Saratoga, where there's like that whole stretch where the camera just, all it shows you is trees and shrubbery. So
yeah.
Feels like a Monty Python
It
joke.
does.
To just
The 3-horse, I forgot her name. Aspen Grove. Looks
Yeah.
like she got a little pinched inside. She was on the rail and then tried to make a move around the one. Oh, and then they go around the scoreboard, and I don't see. And then she's just back again, and
she's just backing up at that point. Yeah. I mean, the jockey Velasquez did try to put her on the save ground to get her up the rail when there was an opening, but yeah, that nothing happened there.
And the 8's the same thing.
The eight absolutely just, it looked like he hated the ground.
Yeah, neither
The
one.
4 never made a move.
Hey, Magic, did you say you had owned partnership in Tis Magician?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, through my racehorse. I don't know if you're familiar with them much.
Oh yeah.
But,
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've had a couple dozen horses, I think. Ironically, Tis a Magician. Every time that he won a race, I wasn't able to be at the track, so I've never been in a win circle. I've got a lot of photos with me, like petting him or holding him or walking his shank or something. But no win pictures with him. But had him. I'm looking at the ones that I got back here too. A couple winners. I've had some winners at Del Mar and San Diego. Nothing. Tis a Magician was by far the best. I do have 63 Caliber, who was with Tom Amos, and she's aiming for the. Oh goodness, I just completely blanked. What's the race that Clearier and Nest are aiming to?
Which one is that?
The older dirt filly route race at Saratoga. What's the big one? I am completely blanking. I'm gonna have to cheat and go to.
I'm blank. Yeah, I'm blank right now too.
forgot the name
That's
of
a
it.
Saratoga race. If they were aiming just Del Mar, I got you. I just looked at the stake schedule for Del Mar, but
No, she's Amos will keep her
Yeah.
out. I mean, she got
Oh,
a
yeah.
really good second in her last race. The personal ensign, that's what it is.
Personal instinct.
Grade 1 race, 500K. So she's a daughter of gun runner, multiple graded stakes winner. She's going to probably at the end of the year, probably sell her at Keeneland. So that'll probably be the most profitable horse I've owned, because we'll get a nice cut of whatever she ends up selling for. I wanted to go back to this. Matt Owens earlier in the chat said I have a fast colt going out to break his maiden next Saturday at Colonial Downs. Be sure to follow him. He's special. The horse is named Adios Pluma by Adios Charlie. All right, I'll put that one. I'll stable that one up. We'll watch. Lon, are you a wrestling fan at all? Like professional wrestling? Yeah, like WWE, AEW.
Used to, back in the days when I was younger, with The Undertaker, Stone Cold.
Yeah. I've recently got back into it, kind of the second half of the COVID era. Got back into it a little bit because of I got really into this is us trying to kill time because we've got 21 minutes to a 6-horse race with a heavy favorite. I used to be I started watching a lot of YouTube videos of stunt performers, and I was like amazed by how they were able to not kill themselves all the time. And then that kind of transitioned into, well, wrestlers are kind of like professional stunt people, so I started watching that. Nick, what about you? Are you WWE, AEW? Nothing? All right.
Nothing.
Well, Ed Berg, any
useless.
SummerSlam predictions? How about you ask me specific matches? I don't want to waste nobody. I don't want to sit here and
Hulk Hogan
keep talking
wins.
about that. Roman Reigns is going to retain the belt over Jey Uso. Cody Rhodes beats Brock Lesnar, and yeah, those are the two matches I can think of. LA Knight probably wins the Battle Royale, but that's all I can think about. Thank you. Siskany. Yeah, Siskany won the Belmont Gold Cup, the race we talked about, the 2-mile turf race that Tiz the Magician's children will someday hopefully win.
Rush.
Yeah. Nate versus Jake. Nate versus Jake. Oh,
I'm gonna
Jake
take
Paul.
Nate. Yeah, I'm gonna take
Paul,
Nate
okay,
Diaz
okay,
at
cool.
like plus 400, just because plus 400 sounds good. But isn't it? I don't know. I don't know enough about boxing, but let's just pretend that I've listened to PTI and them say, well, when an MMA guy goes and they can't kick, they're in trouble. So I'll take Jake Paul, even though I still to this day believe Jake Paul's not a real boxer, but he's like beat up like real boxers multiple times. So it does seem like Jake Paul's legitimate, but
Yeah,
take
Jake
the
Paul's
money,
pretty
take the
good,
place money with Nate Diaz.
What were you gonna say, Lon?
Jake Paul, he's proven himself with those boxes there. So
Yeah. As much as from a personal standpoint, I really hate both of the Paul brothers. I cannot stand Jake or Logan. They both are very committed to what they're doing. Jake Paul, like you said, Lon, he's proven himself against the boxers. He trains and he works his ass off. And so does Logan Paul. Logan Paul is always going to have he's got a SummerSlam match that I think he might actually have a chance to win. But they bring him in for the big events, the pay-per-view events, because he always does something crazy viral. And the guy he's fighting in the SummerSlam tonight, let's see, it was WrestleMania. They were I think it was WrestleMania. There was a previous match. They were fighting each other, and they were on opposite. They were on corners, say like same side, but opposite corners, and they flew in the air and midair like hit each other and went down and didn't die. And so those two guys are gonna fight tonight. So that'll be a spectacle. Either. Yeah. Listen, you can't stand them. That's fine. You put them in an MMA cage. If this was MMA, I think the odds are reversed. I think probably Nate Diaz is minus 500. And then you're just rooting at that point. Personally, I'm rooting for Jake Cage to get just the ever living shit beat out of him. But by the way, yeah, Truth Exposed. Good to see you back. As Shadi said, actually, Shadi could confirm this. Just the other day, I was running through our YouTube channel comments, and I realized I haven't seen Truth Exposed here in quite a while. And I asked Shadi, I was like, dude, have you seen Truth? No, I haven't seen Truth in a while. So there she is. I saw her commenting on something, and she's now here in the live chat. So good to see you back here for this one. All right, let's try and talk a little bit about the Whitney Stakes here. 6 horses going a mile and an eighth. Cody's Wish, the only question mark right now that we have is can he handle the mile and eighth distance? He's never gone this far, but he's a son of Curlin. He's out of a Tappet mare. theoretically he should have no issue with it. Lon, is Cody's Wish your top pick, a single for you, or are you going to try and beat him?
I'll try and beat him, but he's been on a winning streak. I like Cody's Wish. I like Charge It with Todd Pletcher, man. Oh my God.
Well, it's 7-1 on him. He's a third choice, surprisingly, behind Zandon. I don't know if Zandon winning this would be a huge shock because the horse has only ever won twice in his life. One was his maiden debut, and then he wins the Bluegrass Stakes last year. But that was, you look at who he beat in that race, and the Bluegrass actually the last couple of years since it's become a Grade 1 hasn't been a great producer moving forward. Verifying, I know won the Indiana Derby, but that is the Indiana Derby. Good moneymaker. That's about it. But Charge It, I think if Charge It wins this, it's probably going gate to wire. Nick, don't you think?
I think so too. The one that's interesting to me is Giant Game. I don't know that he wants to go a mile and an eighth, and I think he was kind of hoping that there would be no other speed here because he won the Cornhusker going gate to wire, and thank you, Aaron. I watched the Cornhusker, but he ran really well there, and he had good fractions, and he led gate to wire. So I don't know that he wants a mile and an eighth. I don't know that he wants the 2 turns like this. I don't know that he wants to face this group. But Giant Game at 20-1, like him getting caught late wouldn't be a huge shock to me. So I think you do, Charge It, Giant Game underneath Cody's Wish. Cody's Wish, I don't think he's going to have a problem with a mile and an eighth, and if he does, it's not with this group. Face him against 3-year-olds in the Classic at a mile and a quarter, and then we may have some issues. But with this group, I don't think he's going to have any trouble catching them late because I don't think any of them won a mile and an eighth. So Giant Game and Charge It go kind of burn each other up, and then Cody's Wish catches them late, and I think that's kind of how you play it out. Nothing fun nor exciting there, I don't believe.
Dale Romans won this race in 2004 with a horse named Roses in May, and Roses in May came into that race at the Whitney off of winning the Cornhusker Handicap in 2004. So, listen, the Cornhusker has, people make fun of it, the Cornhusker has produced several good horses to go forward. Remember Nick's Go is the most famous one, but Nick's Go wins the Cornhusker in 2021. He loses the Met Mile in his first race back from the Saudi Cup, and he was 4th and didn't look that great. Goes and wins the Cornhusker for fun, but then he wins the Whitney, the Lucas Classic, and then the Breeders' Cup. So, there you go. Car Ramrod, there you got that. And Car Ramrod said also, if you ever bet Dale, this is the price to catch him with. That's very true. Dale Romans, if you want to have a positive ROI betting him, you can't touch any of his short-priced horses because that's usually a sign that Dale Romans has told everyone and their brother that the horse is going to win, and then you get a Dennis's moment situation, and then they don't really pan out there. But Rodney's counting all of his money, so Rodney, I think, has already hit the bar and gone crazy. I'm against everyone, but give me number 5, Way to Barrio, for the win. I could make a case for it, actually.
That's a great pick. You never, 11-1.
11-1. You're right. You've also got, not with Saffie Joseph anymore, but with Rick Dutrow, who's he's got 8% winners so far in his big return. But the horses are hitting the board at 58%, so I think that's 14 of 26 runners, including his first start for Dutrow, which was the Grade 1 Met Mile, and he was ahead behind Zandon for a second. Now, Cody's Wish beat them both, but a horse to use underneath, I think, for if you really want to get some value there. I went with the Cody's Wish Zandon straight exacta. That's how I'm playing this one. Zandon doesn't like to win. He loves to finish second. 5 seconds, 2 wins and 3/3 in 11 starts. The only time he was that he was completely off the board was in the Cigar Mile. He finished 4th, and it was a sloppy, slowly run race. He wasn't able to catch anybody. So he can handle mile and an eighth. Shouldn't be an issue for him. He's done that well in the past. Lon, you're our exotics player, exacta trifecta. How are you going to play this race? What are your picks?
Alrighty, okay. My picks for this race, my trifecta is Cody's Wish, Zandon, or White Barrio. My try will be, I like Charge It to win, Mr. Fletcher. Charge It or Zandon.
Yeah, Charge It, like we talked about, could go gate to wire. for me, the problem with Charge It isn't even the fact that Giant Game shows up in here. It's the races he wins. It's not against really great horses. Like he started off the year winning at Gulfstream Park. Vittorio was second. Clapton was third. Last time out in the Suburban, 5-horse field. He went gate to wire. Kind of had things his own way. Clapton was second, 4 3/4 lengths behind him. There really wasn't anything in that race. And when he does face good horses, you look at the Oaklawn handicap when he was fifth. Proxy, Last Samurai, who's in this race, Stiletto Boy, they were all in that spot. And then the Met Mile, Cody's Wish, Xander Way to Burrow, they're all in this spot. But neither of those races did he have the lead. He projects to have the lead. You'd think that Velasquez tries to send him to the lead like he did last out in the Suburban. So I think if you're trying to beat Cody's Wish, this is the horse you go with. Nick, talk to me about Last Samurai. You don't have to make a case for him, but tell me why you would or would not use him in this spot.
Yeah, I've looked some more, and I'm going to do a 6 with 2-3-4 with 2-3-4 trifecta, basically tossed in the Met Mile. Last Samurai is the only one here who wants to go a mile and an eighth, it seems, and maybe he only wants to go a mile and an eighth at Oaklawn, but he wants to go a mile and an eighth. So I don't see a reason why he can't pick up pieces. He's a 5-year-old. He's gotten the distance. His speed figures fit against most of the others, not named Cody's Wish. So it's like, where else would you put a horse like Last Samurai? This is the kind of the place you put him. It's hard to make a case for him to win, but Pratt picks up the mount. You get D-Wayne Lucas at a huge price. Like, this is one that you can hit second or third and not be totally shocked by that. So, was that close enough to a Somich impression of like, hey, I can make a case for a 20-1 that makes no sense?
It does in some cases make sense. I mean, he was banging heads at Oaklawn with a couple of the top horses in the older division. Proxy, Stiletto Boy was right there with him. He did win the Essex handicap. Last time out, Ellis Park, the Stephen Foster Stakes, was fourth behind two horses that actually were originally pointing to this race. West Willpower won. It has now retired. Would have been a shame. That's a shame because I want to see him here because I definitely think he would have taken a lot of money and I was going to try to beat him. Rattle and Roll was looking at this spot. They're instead going to put him in the Jockey Club Gold Cup Stakes, which will be later in the meet for Saratoga. He's had good efforts there, but I think it's also a case of the coach sometimes just really pops. And at Saratoga in the last year is 18%. So that's a good way to handle that. Let's see. Car Ramrod is making a case for a 6-1-4 try. So it's Last Samurai in third, with Zandon in second, Cody's Wish winning, getting Charge It out of the try. I think you need to get either Zandon or Charge It out of your try if you're using Cody's Wish and you want to make some money there. You got to try and find a way to get around one of those two horses. It almost feels like if I was going to do a try, I don't know. I'm going to think about this one. Nick, what do you have for a try?
So my try is going to be 6 with 2-3-4 for that, 2-3-4 for the reasons you're saying, right? It's like if you play Zandon and Charge It, it's paying $7 or $9 for 50 cents. So there's just not enough there, not enough meat on the bones there. But if you get if you get Zandon out, it's paying pretty well. So beat Zandon, who wants to get second, but again, I don't know that he wants to get a mile and an eighth. I don't think he's really a long course. I think he's ran long because that's what they've done because he was in the Kentucky Derby. So you keep running him long because he keeps collecting checks. I mean, he's made a bunch of money. He just hasn't won any races. So not a terrible place to be, honestly. Like run here, run third and collect what, $250,000? Like, okay, not a bad day at the office.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He reminds me, if you guys remember looking at Lee, he reminds me of that horse. It was like, would love to own that horse. That horse made so much money. You never want to bet him to win because of that.
Xanden's made $1.72 million, like on a $170,000 purchase, and still cold, right? They can still go breed him after this, which I'm sure they will, right? They'll probably make some money breeding him.
Yeah. Well, in the, you got to remember, too, he was third in the Kentucky Derby. There's a lot of the money that he's earned. And that was a situation where I still say that he finished second. I refuse to acknowledge Rich Strike won that race. Epicenter won the Kentucky Derby last year. By the way, just curious. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, Lon, but I definitely did not have Mage. Who was your Kentucky Derby horse? Was it Mage?
No, I didn't. I didn't have Mage in there. I had oh my God, who was in there?
Mine was Angel of Empire. That was my top pick. I did love Two Phils.
That was
One of my
my
favorite
top
parts
pick.
of the Derby was being.
I had Forte. He scratched. We had no. He scratched
Yeah.
me out of there. No.
Yeah.
Who I had? Can't remember.
My mother-in-law was watching the race back there is our living room, and she and my wife were watching the race on NBC, and they're about 30 seconds behind or so what we were seeing with the ADW, and she had bet Two Phils, or she had me bet Two Phils for her, and I was watching, and I thought for sure off the turn, I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to win this race. It's going to be a great story. And then 30 seconds after the wire, she thought he was going to win, and she started screaming so loud for him that I had to turn off my microphone on the live feed because of that one. Mike Somich did have Mage. If anybody wants to know, one of us on the team did have the Kentucky Derby winner that year. How about we still got 5 minutes to post here. Travers Stakes. Nick, I'll throw it to you first. Who's your early pick for the Travers, assuming all of the usual players are going to show up?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be one of those Baffords that comes in and wins, and you're just like, how did Arabian Lion win this race? Because he's not really good, but he is good because he's a Baffert and he's winning allowance races. And it's like, oh yeah, he's pointing there. So I'm against some of the more logicals in that race because I think it's going to be a bit quick of a turnaround coming from the Haskell or the Jim Dandy. So I think I'm more interested in the 3-year-olds in the Classic than I am in the not than the Travers, because there are only 3-year-olds in the Travers, but one of the more long shots in the Travers, and then they become the logicals there kind of win the Classic is the way that I'm drawing it up in my head.
Well, Nick's got the wrong pick there. Lon, you say that Forte was your pick for the Derby. Is he your pick for the Travers?
Yes, he is. Yeah, I like Forte, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. And after what we saw in the Jim Dandy, combined with the fact that Go Rocket Ride is not going to come out to New York for the Travers, to me that kind of solidifies it. He's just I've tried so many times to beat Forte or to play defensively against him because he's the 2-year-old champion and he's by violence. He seemed like a horse that just had peaked. He was so strong early in his throughout his 2-year-old season. I was like, they'll catch up to him. And the other horses have improved around him, but he's also improved with them. So
yeah, Magic. I think his running style fits all the races that Mr. Pletcher's put him into. Late digger, late in the 16s. That's when his running starts.
You're right, and he's one of those horses, Lon, that like he sees someone in front of him and he wants to go get that horse and pass him.
Yeah.
Another horse that loves to do that. He's on the screen right now. That's the 6 Cody's Wish. He is 1-2 on the morning. Matching his morning line. I'll hand it to David Aragona again. Like he nailed that one, pretty strong. 4 minutes to post. Let's see. Cody's Wish, Zandon Exacta, 6-1. Well, that's the lowest one on the board. That's a 4-1. So apparently, Nick, we're not the only ones trying to do that one. And Lon, I know you said Charge It on top. Do you have Cody's Wish second? Who remind me your picks?
No, 6-2. I'll go 6-2, 6-2-3.
6-2-3. 6-2 is paying 6-1. So yeah, that's also not bad. I mean, Zandon, it could come down to like a head case and a head case. They're both, one of them by Tappa, so definitely a head case. But it could come down to a head bob at the wire, and the case of is Charge It able to sustain it long enough? Does he get an easy lead, and does Velasquez get him to calm down, take a breather? He's cut. We didn't talk about Suburban's a 1.25 miles. He's cutting back in distance here, whereas Cody's Wish is stretching out. I will say off of that note, a lot of people saying they got to root for Cody, especially what we unfortunately saw in the test stakes 2 races ago. It'd be really nice to end this on a high note here. Try and hopefully keep the feel good story going. I know, Nick, you were of the mindset that you want Cody's Wish to win because it will make him so a heavy favorite for the Breeders' Cup Classic that Nick is when you want to take your shot against him, right?
Absolutely, and a Curlin out of a Tappet Mayor is going to get 1.25 miles, you would think, all the time until they don't. And I just feel like Cody's Wish, if they wanted to go longer, there's been plenty of shots for them to run 1.1 miles before. They've taken a long time to get here. So maybe he's fine. And in this race, I think he's going to be good enough to beat this field. But I don't know that he really, I don't know he wants to go that much longer. I don't know. Why not go back to the Breeders' Mile? Or they won't go to the mile because they're going to win here and they're going to be the heavy favorite in the Classic. But yeah, it's interesting to me that they haven't decided to do this before. I know they did the Tampa Bay, the Charger, I believe they tried him on his second race of his career, a mile and eighth at Saratoga. So I know they've tried, but they've kept him short, and it just feels like they kept him short because that's what he's good at. He has a great close for a sprint. I don't know if he wants to do the late close on a mile and a quarter.
Eduardo in the chat is playing the number 2 Charge It to win. Charge It still 6-1. 6-1 on Charge It. He's actually floated up, and Zandon's back down to 9-2. If you take a win shot against Cody's Wish, I think you take it on Charge It. Cameron Bradley going to try and take a shot against, going for either Zandon or the 4 Last Samurai. Cameron, between those two, I would say go with the 4 Last Samurai. I think he has a better chance to win than Zandon. I think Zandon's got a better chance to hit the board, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And then to your point, Nick, about the horse Cody's Wish never going that far and hasn't done it. Truth Exposed says they kept Flightline healthy until they were ready to unleash that beast, and he, every time that they asked him to pass a new test, he did it. And to her credit, Truth Exposed was someone that was trying to beat Flightline, and then she's just eventually said, "Nah, he's amazing." So
the one difference there though is that Flightline ran 3 or 4 times, and Cody's Wish keeps racing. Right, this is what, the 4th race of the year, so that is true, and I completely agree. And then Flightline, but nobody ever really thought Flightline didn't have it until, I guess the Breeders' or the Pacific Classic last year, when it was like, okay, well, he's got it. But this one's raced enough times that they had the chance to do it, right? They didn't need to run him at 7 furlongs to start the year.
Sean Hamilton in the chat saying going 6 over 4, Cody's Wish over Last Samurai. That's paying 14-1. So that's one of those cases we talk about on the Racing Dudes team that if you got a heavy favorite like Cody's Wish, how do you make money betting them? Well, that's a case. If you like a price horse underneath,
that's a good exactly.
I was just going to say, you like Charge It to get second. He and Zandon both 4-1 with Cody's Wish winning. Yeah. Cameron says, by the way, I'm from England and love horse racing. American horse, so much more better. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think many people agree with you. I think it's very much different. It's a very different style. I appreciate that it's very different. I didn't used to when I first started. It drove me nuts, but I like that it's different. All right. They're hitting the gate for the Whitney Stakes. First one in is going to be Zandon. Odds on Cody's Wish now 2-5. I think this is what I was guessing 1-5. Lon, I think you had said 2-5. Nick, you're thinking around that as well. Zandon, your second choice at 9-2. Charge It 6-1, and then double digits from there on out. We'll see if Charge It goes to the lead and what kind of a lead he ends up getting here. But good luck if you're playing. Let us know in the comments section what you're playing, and we'll try and root them home for you here and see if we can get a feel-good story for Cody's Wish to keep on keeping on here at Saratoga. He's in the gate. They're all locked in. They're off. There they go. Cody's Wish a little awkward out of the gate. He's going to be last away and trailing. Charge It, the big surprise, is going to be third, it looks like, going into the turn there. Giant Game.
Oh, my God.
He's going to be fourth now. Giant Game hellbound on taking that lead. White Abario very close behind in second. Zandon hugging the rail, Charge It in between him and Last Samurai. Cody's Wish at the rear. He's come from behind horse, so that not much of a surprise. 24-2 for that opening quarter. Nick, that's they're going a mile and an eighth, but that is very slow, and it doesn't look like Giant Game's being pushed very hard.
It does not. I wonder if that's what Charge It was hoping for, was that they were all going to go and then they didn't. So now he's trying to work out a trip because they don't look like they're moving very fast, and Cody's Wish is now making a little bit of a move back there to get a little bit closer, because that seemed like they're going pretty slow in 48.25 for the half.
Yeah, they sped up a tiny bit, but not by much. All right, Cody's Wish is going to pass Charge It here as they go into the turn. Lon, I'm sorry. I know you were liking Charge It for a second. He's not out of it completely. Last Samurai looks like the first one to really throw the anchor in. White Abario about to take the lead here from Giant Game. Zandon right behind him. Cody's Wish hot on his trail, and Charge It's going to move with him. Now, here's the thing. Charge It has got to find a way around these horses. He might get the rail opening. Cody's Wish goes wide. White Abario with the lead off the turn. Zandon's there. Cody's Wish is going to try and reel him in, but White Abario looks gone.
Upset. Oh, my God.
And Cody's Wish is not going to be second. Listen, death taxes and Zandon getting second in races and graded stakes. White Abario,
wow.
Open length, 6-length winner maybe. Cody's Wish is third, Zandon second. Charge It very close for fourth. Last Samurai last, so that puts Giant Game fifth. Wow.
Mr. being win back.
Wow.
Oh my God. What, White Abario?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Rodney, you want a job working for us? You've been right all day, man. Listen, credit where credit is due. Rodney said he was against everyone and give him White Abario in that spot. Congratulations. Hey, White Abario, winner of the Florida Derby. By the way, White Abario, right there on the old Racing Dudes Triple Crown Championship belt. That's my boy from last year as a 3-year-old. Holy smokes. Frank Miramati said running the race of his life. I think that's an understatement. Came home in 12, just under 12 and 1/5 seconds there. That was very, very impressive from that horse. He was absolutely ready for this race. Wow. And he was not slowing down.
He ran a mile last out in the Met Mile, and then he ran that 7 furlongs at Gulfstream. So I guess coming back to that Pegasus at a mile and an eighth where he didn't run very well in the Pegasus. So, I mean, I said minutes ago, I don't think he wants the distance. I think we want to cut him back. And, again, I know a lot about horses and what trainers are smart and not. So, wow, is it the Dutro angle that we want to look at?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, the chat's already going wild with that one. The Dutro effect on this. White Abario at 10-1 with Zandon coming in second there. A 5-1 exacta paying 39-1. So if you just key Zandon in second and put everybody else on top of him in every race, you're guaranteed to make some money like that. One hell of an effort from White Abario. I would say that's by far the best win he's ever had. And the Florida Derby was great. By the way, he beat Charge It in that race as well. That was just unbelievable. Irad Ortiz Jr. rode him perfectly. He had him very close to the pace that was pretty soft. Let's talk about Cody's Wish. This is going to be the big story as well. Cody's Wish goes down to defeat first time in 8 starts. Was it the distance? Was it the slow fractions? Nick, I'll throw to you first. What was Cody's Wish's undoing?
It certainly looked like it was a slow fractions because he came for third and he didn't look like he was slowing down. It just Zandon got the first run on him, it looked like. So I don't know that getting the distance is ever going to be a problem for him. It looked like he was fine there. I think it was just the way that we said 24 and 48. That's I guess racehorse speed to some degree, and on a good course, maybe you say that those fractions were faster than it seemed, but it certainly seemed like a slow pace, and they didn't seem to be really moving. Cody's Wish doesn't have anything to close into, so I would say maybe you get a price on Cody's Wish to win the Classic now. Reverse his course from 3 minutes ago.
What define price? What do you think the price is that he'll be?
You figure in the Classic, you'd get 3-1 on him. After losing to White Abario, because White Abario's got to be going there now too, right? Like White Abario's not going to the mile, and you get Zandon in there. You get.
I would put him in a mile.
In there.
You'd put Zandon at a mile on?
No, White Abario.
Oh, White Abario at the mile. I think I would too. It's 2 turns. It's at Santa Anita, so it'll be 2 turns, and I think that'll help him. You get a lot of sprinter, like 7 furlong types that go fast, and that could set up well for him. Mm-hmm. I'll be curious to see what they do with the ownership C2 Racing Stables. Big friends of the Magic Mike Show and the Racing Dudes, by the way. So good to see Mark and Clint getting the big win with White Abario there. So we'll see what they end up doing with this horse. And do they send him back to Safi? Right? They sent him to Dutro because Safi had that ban from Churchill Downs tracks for a while, and so in order to keep running White in big races, Naira at one point reciprocated that ban. They were like, we have to send him to someone who can run him in these big races. So we'll see what they do with White as far as a training perspective goes. I think it's hard to take him away from Dutrow after that. Like, that is, he never ran like that for Safi, not even at Florida. And by the way, one of the knocks against White we didn't talk about, but a knock against him was he never took his race outside of Florida, really. Well, he did now.
Yep.
He did indeed. He closed and finished that race really, really well. And yes, a mile going 2 turns at Santa Anita may be the place to take him for the dirt mile instead, but he didn't look like he was slowing down with an extra 1/8 of a mile. And they ran him in the Pacific or the Pegasus, so it certainly feels like they put him in the Derby, right? Like, they want him to go long. I don't know that the dirt mile is where they're going to want to send that one, but who knows?
Well, the good news is we still got 3 months until the Breeders' Cup Classic. White is officially in the race if they want to send him there. He is out of a sire Race Day, who Race Day got better as he got older, and was a son of Tapas. So that's where you get the white genes from. That's where you get possibly distance from as well. And he's out of an Into Mischief mare. So we'll see what happens there. But White officially in the Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll see what I would assume Zandon's going to head there. I don't think a mile is good for him at 2 turns. I think they might want to go longer with him. Breeders' Cup Classic, $6 million purse, finishing second in that race, boys. It pays pretty well. But there it is. There's the
Wow.
There's the Whitney Stakes at Saratoga. It's, that was not the feel-good story we were hoping for with the way that the live show started for us. But if you bet White at 10-1, you are feeling very, very, very good right now. So if you bet him, if you had him on any of your tickets, congratulations. Go cash your ticket with a big smile. We'll close things up here. I want to say thank you so much to my 2 guests. Nick Seevers, this guy. He's been on Magic Mike Show. He's been on Blinkers Off, and he's the host of Racing Dudes After Dark, which is usually on Friday afternoon, evenings, covering the early pick 5 at Del Mar. Everybody was traveling yesterday, August 4th, so we didn't get to do it, but should be back on August 11th with the usual suspects. So thank you, Nick, and of course, Lon, our newest member of the Racing Dudes family. So glad we were able to have you on to make this work. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we can do this again, buddy.
Thank you, Magic. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. All right. For Nick Seevers, for Lon Garfield, I've been Magic. Follow us on Twitter at @racing_dudes. Visit racingdudes.com for free picks for every race, every track across the country. And we will see you next time. Where does Jared have the button hidden? There it is. See ya.